Hey, what's up, Helldivers? We're back today with an amazing video today. We're going to be breaking down the new Warbond trailer, which just dropped. It is the Space Cowboy, new jetpack, so many awesome things in it. So we're going to be reacting to it. We're going to be breaking it down. And then we're going to be discussing the PlayStation blog that came out alongside it that gives us some nice key details about like the booster and stuff like that. And then afterwards, we're going to be talking about the patch that is coming out today with all of the buffs, lots of them, and some cool changes to how we're going to play Automaton and Illumina missions specifically. So let's get into it. So good. Love the music. Got that Senator twirl. Nod of the with the hat. Cliche tip of the hat. So good. No cowboy hat though. Definitely say I miss it. Absolute surprise for me in this trailer. I'm looking forward to doing some like really cool peek shooting over objects with it. "15-second timer there we see. Not the biggest explosion, but fairly large. And they have a nice little snippet at the end here, which I love. Cowboy standoff. So good. Dude, that animation looks so good. So good. All right. So getting into it, the big takeaways that we can see is obviously we have the energy sidearm. It will be energy based. It looks like we are doing at least, over 100 damage because we are body shotting them, one-shotting them. It does look like it's one-shotting them even if it hits them in the arm, which is like quite nice. I'm hoping this is at least medium pen. If it's light pen, it will have some trouble competing against probably the Peacemaker and weapons of that caliber. So I'm hoping that it's just like a slower firing, a limited ammo verdict in a way, where the verdict has the ability to like, faster reload, because obviously it doesn't have to deal with the charge speed. And then also it has like a faster fire rate. So we'll see. We'll see where it lands. I do not think it's going to have like Senator level pen. The Senator will probably still have that niche clawed out for it, but I'm looking forward to the talent. I think it's really nice. Good emote. Too bad we don't have the hat, but it's fine. We have a marksman rifle, the Deadeye. Lever action. Looks like a fairly good fire rate. It's got to hit harder than the counter sniper, and it has to have medium pen, in my opinion. If it does not have medium pen, it's going to have a really hard time competing, especially when the Diligence, which we're going to talk about a little later, is already getting some buffs. Yeah, hope it has, hope it's got decent damage because, man, the counter sniper has been performing really well in a lot of situations, especially on like all fronts. Maybe not as much on the bugs, but it's performing on it really well. Good fire rate, not that much recoil. Like it's just really easy to use at the moment. So I'm hoping that it can like kind of carve out its own like niche as far as like being like a slower firing, but like harder hitting. So you maybe don't need as much precision, but decent scope on it. Looks at least 100 meters, but we'll see in game what it's like when we get our hands on it. Outfits, we have the medium and heavy set here. Later in the video, they show the light set. Quick note on the armor. It is faster reload with your secondary weapons. It is faster holster and ready speed. That seems like it's a universal. This is from the PlayStation blog. It is a universal. So for all weapons, I hope, even including your support weapons. I cannot confirm that yet. I'm just kind of reading this off on the PlayStation blog. And then the last thing is reduce recoil. I'm assuming it's the 30% recoil reduction that the engineer kit and explosive resistant armor sets already have, but we'll see. But yeah, it seems like we're getting light, medium, and heavy. The one in the Superstore does look light. If it's not light, I don't know what the hell they're doing. It looks light. So, going forward. Love the blue cape, by the way, on the right. We're actually getting capes with different colors now, not just, you know, yellow, red, gray, black kind of thing. So yeah, love that we're getting blue. Definitely a surprise also, like I said earlier. Hover pack looks awesome. I'm hoping that there is some amount of like movement that you can get with it, or if like you're sprinting and activate it, you like hold the momentum. It's gonna be a little bit disappointing if it's just like stationary. Like there's still going to be like plenty of really cool opportunities where you can like have like a high wall and you like peek over it, kill a bunch of enemies, then come back down, or just like a cliff in front of you, or just like getting swarmed by bugs and just like, you know, with predator bugs and just like go up above them and shoot them dead. Like that'd be awesome. I can see some really cool like moments like that. Hopefully there's nothing that can shoot you out of the sky in that situation though. But similar to like the Illuminant, you know, elevated overseers, I kind of want some amount of movement. Would be nice. Dynamite, as it was saying in the PlayStation blog, it seems like it has a variable timer. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to be implemented. Maybe similar to other weapons where you bring up the menu while you have it equipped and you can maybe change the timer. Hard to say, but here it has 15 seconds. I'm hoping you can get it maybe as low as 5 seconds. So you can do some like almost C4 level plays. I'm hoping it has some amount of AT potential and at least double the damage of like a regular high explosive. I want it to have some heft, because obviously right here they're showing just like throwing it at a fabricator, but like all of our grenades can already do that. So it's hard for me to be like, oh wow, when all of our grenades can already do that. So I kind of want to see what else can it do? What does it enable? Can it have like higher destruction? Can it blow up a Bile Titan nest, for instance? That would be really interesting. So we'll see. Love this emote. It actually uses the weapon that's equipped. I'm sure you're going to be seeing many people doing it with the Senator as well. But this is the light set. Cool. Very cool looking. Love it. And the draw emote, which will be included. This is going to be in the Superstore. Not included in the Warbond, but in the Superstore. So, yeah. So we get the 2 armor sets, light and, not light, medium and heavy, the Deadeye marksman rifle, hoping that it's medium pen. It's a lever action rifle. We get the Laz 58 Talon. It will be heat based, like I said, and it's like a revolver style. So unlimited ammo potentially. The lift hover pack, hoping that we have some mobility with it, but it looks so cool. Love it. Dynamite. Give me some AT potential with it, and I think it actually has a spot. It's more of like an AoE rather than like the single target nature of the Thermite. And next we have the booster, team booster. You'll be able to the sample extricator. I thought it was sample extractor at first, but that's just my dyslexia. Extricator, as it says in the PlayStation blog, it states that large monsters and enemies that you kill have a chance to drop a sample. Now, from the image, it looks like it's a common sample, but we'll have to see if maybe you can get a rare or an ultra rare. That'd be really interesting and have like gameplay implications for people who maybe don't want to venture into like 6+ missions and maybe want to stick on lower ones. If you can kill a Charger or a Bile Titan and all of a sudden super samples on the ground, that'd be really interesting. Obviously, you get the tip hat, the 2 player banners, and the 2 capes, and the player title Super Sheriff. Love it. Very cool. So overall, very excited for this Warbond. We'll be testing it a ton over on Twitch exactly when it releases. So come on by on Thursday. Bright and early. We'll be there testing everything. All right. And now getting into the patch notes that are coming out today. First, going into the reprimand, they are addressing, that cone, basically like for every tier list for the last like however many months, I was just basically saying reprimand just had this accuracy issue that I just did not like about it. I always felt like it needed a little bit of love in that department, and I didn't want to use it a lot of the times on bot or Illuminant missions because like past 25 meters, I just felt like it was having trouble. Slugger, love this. They're reverting the spread back down to like a reasonable level, making it a precision weapon and giving it a love bump back up to 280. It's not the 300 that I was kind of hoping that we'd hit the break point of, but it's a step in the right direction. We'll see if it gets any more love in the future, but I think we're definitely going in the right direction with the Slugger. It already has the original amount of stagger that it had once upon a time, and now it's getting like the more sniper like accurate side of it. I'm very excited to test it out and see where it lands. Liberator Concussive, I've definitely seen this one being discussed quite a bit. I think it's a lot better than people think, and now that it's getting a fire rate buff, I think it's actually like a really strong weapon. Like some people just kind of like immediately ignore it, but this thing, as long as you can land your shots, enemies can't mess with you. It has so much stagger and this massive drum magazine that it just feels like nothing can touch you. Yeah, it takes you a while to kill things, but if you have a teammate that's also running like a more regular, like killing oriented weapon, it's like the team play aspect of it is super good, especially against the Predator bugs if you've been playing against them. Regular Diligence, this is the light pen, is getting a magazine bump to 25. Cool. I wasn't really expecting that, but it's nice to see. This might be in response to the new marksman rifle that we're getting, the Deadeye. I'm still hoping that it's not light pen and it's medium pen, but we'll see. The Knight, the STA SMG, both of these are the very high fire rate SMGs, are going up to 70 damage. Love to see that. They did feel like they were kind of underperforming. Like you have to take like an entire magazine to kill some enemies, and that was just disappointing, let's be honest. So I like the idea of it going up 5 damage. That's a decent result. Still want to see them get a little more ammo. But as long as you're willing to take maybe siege ready, I think you probably have enough ammo when you're doing that, or you're doing city maps. The SMG 37 Defender is getting a 5 damage bump as well. Happy to see that. It definitely felt like it was like SMGs in general felt like they were in an odd spot since assault rifles were getting so much love and SMGs were kind of falling behind. Good result. Really happy to see that. They still have bad damage drop off, so they're more effective in close range, but you're getting more damage in that close range. So it's nice to see. Pummeler also getting the damage bump. Same as the Defender, which is interesting. I wasn't quite expecting that. I thought the Defender would just always have like a little bit of a damage, benefit over the Pummeler, since the Pummeler has such a good stagger effect, but we'll see how it performs. The Pummeler does have slower bullet velocity, so it's a little harder to hit enemies that are, doing their side strafing, but we'll see. Now requires less shots to apply the stun. That's great. It'll still have a very short stun duration, which is a bit sad, but at least you don't have to fire as many shots to get that stun result. We're not going back to the days, at least it seems, like where you're just like shooting the butt of a charger and keeping them stun locked, so you just keep doing that, like locking them in place. Doesn't seem like that's happening, but it is what it is. The regular Liberator going up to 80 damage. Very surprising. But it does make sense when we're also seeing the ST-52, which is basically a cosmetic change of the normal Liberator going up. This was something that I discussed quite a bit when I was in Stockholm. It's just like assault rifles just need a bit more. Just give them a bit more. People want to use them so bad, but not everybody has like that perfect precision aim. So giving them that like ease of use, that better damage per shot, so you don't have to always hit precision shots, is nice. Adjudicator also going up to 95. Tenderizer going up. That's a big one for some players. People love using the Tenderizer. I did notice that the Liberator Carbine is not here, but the Adjudicator is. That's an interesting one. Liberator Carbine might get eclipsed by the Adjudicator. The Adjudicator, I think, was already in a good spot. Maybe doesn't get as much love because the Liberator Carbine was easier to use, but the Adjudicator is getting that extra 5 damage bump. That's interesting. Liberator Carbine is not here. Sad to see it. I think it does need it. It's kind of similar to like the Knight and the SMG, where like they are stupendously fast firing weapons, but you almost feel like you can't utilize it because it just doesn't fire. It fires too fast, essentially. You're like out of ammo so fast, and it doesn't feel like it's like really benefiting from it. Especially now that we're seeing the Liberator go up in damage. That's an odd one. I would have hoped to have seen it there. The Eruptor. We needed some love. It definitely did. They're giving it heavy pen, or pen 4. medium plus, as you will. It will now be able to kill Hulks. If the math is correct, it should be able to 2-tap them in the eye. This is not the direction I thought they would go, but I had seen it like floating around as a possibility, and that's an interesting one. Being able to 2-tap Hulks and, you know, just be more effective against medium pen enemies. Because remember, it going up 1 tier higher, if it's ever dealing with medium pen enemies, it will do 35% more damage to a medium pen or medium armored enemy, right? So across the board, it's going to be better against medium enemies. I'm assuming this will also apply to the shrapnel. That's a bit unknown. We'll have to test it and see if it also applies to the shrapnel, or is it actually just the projectile itself? I always thought of the Eruptor as like an AoE weapon, right? You're shooting below enemies so you can get the explosion kind of around them and to more than an enemy. This is an interesting direction, definitely a lot different than the crossbow, so we'll have to see how this plays out. Also, the lifetime of the projectile increasing means that it'll have a greater range. It's a 30, you know, 0.3 second increase. That's like not quite 50%, but it's like 40% increase. Right now, I think it goes about 125 meters if my memory serves me right. So I would expect maybe it's reaching out to 200 meters or so. But we'll have to test it in game and see. Because like at the moment, the crossbow is like the better long range option, which just doesn't feel right, especially when the Eruptor has this awesome scope on it, but you can't use it over 125 meters. It just didn't feel right. Love the change to the 110 million rock pods. I gave the devs a lot of feedback on this one. I was hoping for a little bit more, but I will take this as a nudge in the right direction. Getting that extra usage, for those who don't know, this is without the upgrade from the ship. So it'll be 4 for those who already have the upgrade. So going up to 4 is a fantastic one. I got the impression talking with the devs that they want this to be like a soften the target up, not one-shot the target, right? They want you to use this on a Bile Titan to like open up the back, and then you use something else, because that's the railgun or rail cannon's job, is to one-shot, right? So they don't want it to like step on it, but I'm still hoping it gets a little more damage, so it's at least a little more consistent at cracking open, because there's definitely those situations where like all the rockets land, nothing gets cracked open on the back, and you're like, damn. Patriot Exosuit's going up to 3 uses, not changing the cooldown. Maybe that's coming in the future with a upgrade, a vehicle module at some point, maybe Arrowhead, who knows? I actually don't know, but it's nice to see that we're going up with 1 more usage for those 40-minute missions. It's going to be fantastic. I already felt like the Emancipator Exosuit was like easy A tier. Patriot Exosuit, I'm still hoping they make some changes to the rockets, maybe even increasing the pen of the machine gun, but love to see both exosuits get some love, because like before, I still think they're like very good, but they're high risk, high reward. So certain players would just never touch them because they didn't want to take the risk of it like dying immediately to a teammate or a Bile Titan or something like that, and then not getting a lot of usage out of it. Now it's going to be a lot safer of a pick, being able to use up to 3 of them. That's fantastic. Sterilizer actually getting the ergonomics that it deserves. So you'll be able to whip it around a little faster. Because I find when I take the sterilizer, I literally just take it out, do 1 spray, and then swap back to whatever weapon. I'm not sitting there spraying the weapon. Top tip, do not do that. It does like very little damage of like actual projectile, right? Apply the gas, then swap to whatever you're doing. Torture works really well with it. Torture plus sterilizer, very fun combo. Stalwart getting a nice bump alongside the Liberator. Not surprising, it's getting the same. Typically the Liberator and the Stalwart, you know, actually go hand in hand as far as their upgrades have gone, so we're not surprised to see that at all. This is a big one that I kept talking to the devs about. For those who have ever used the machine gun and were like, why are my bullets ricocheting all of a sudden? It's because if a bullet hit like an angled surface of, I think it was around like 45-degree deflection, it would actually lose penetration and go down to medium pen instead of the pen 4 that it had, the heavy pen, and it would deflect. So when you're shooting like a Factory Strider's stomach, it would actually lose penetration and go from like trying to like over penetrate it for medium pen down 1, so you're doing 30%, 35% less damage to the stomach of a faction strider unless you got underneath it and you're actually shooting it at more of like a perpendicular spot. It was crazy. So I'm super happy to see this. The heavy machine gun has already been performing very well, and this will just help it become even more useful. Love this. And in a lot of situations, this is essentially a 35% damage buff against like automatons and stuff like that. It's really nice. Now it's situational, but it's very nice. They discuss here that they've made some changes to the AI, specifically with automaton's situational awareness. Apparently they were aggroing very well, and I've definitely seen that where sometimes like the bots were just doing dumb things. They also said that they are able to calculate more AI calculations, which will allow enemies to be maybe a little more lethal in larger groups. Because I've definitely seen that like when there's a ton of like hunters and stuff on the screen or bugs in that regard, they're just kind of walking at you very slowly, not menacingly. They're not trying to kill you. So I'm hoping that they're going to be a little more aggro intensive, which will maybe lead to some like tougher situations on all fronts. I'm actually really excited from like a gameplay perspective that we might have like essentially a more intelligent enemy that's a little more aggressive. So we'll see how that turns out. They say that there is a slight trade-off in performance, but I think it's going to be worth it. We'll see. Hopefully it's not too much. And in here, they talk about how the automatons and the Illuminants have been catching on to our anti-air capabilities. Specifically, it seems like they were talking about the recoilless and the spear. You were able to shoot the main fuselage of the ship, crack it in half, and then kill all of the enemies attached to it. If you had not done it on the bot front, you've probably seen people doing it. It's an extremely powerful tactic. I'm kind of enjoying the fact that they have increased it to just above the recoilless damage. For those who don't know, the recoilless does 3,200 damage, so now it's going to be 35, which does actually mean that there's some team play potential here where someone shoots it with a recoilless, like the main fuselage, and then like takes out a autocannon or something else, and then instead of wasting another recoilless shot, you like finish off the ship. That's actually a really interesting idea, and I look forward to doing that. Illuminant dropships will also have a little bit of that going on because they say they will be utilizing their shield. So I wonder if like someone with a stalwart, for instance, at max fire rate takes out the shield as it's like coming in, and then you shoot the bottom. Really cool team play potential between players. I'm hoping that we can utilize that because it was getting boring that like you go on these defense missions and like half your team brings recoillesses and just shoots things down. It was fun for like a month, and then I'll be honest, I started to get really bored of just like shooting down these dropships. So I'm happy to see that there's going to be it's still there. It's still a potential strategy, and you can still shoot the engines if you want to see it spin down and explode, but a lot of enemies do survive that, so just a heads up. But yeah, really interesting to see, and excited to play with the new build. Very excited. Barrage tank turret. So for a while there, the barrage tank had 0 armor on it, and it was like ridiculously easy to kill like any weapon in the game. So the tank went from being extremely annoying to like to like one of the most pushover tanks in the game. If you just spotted it, it just like died. Now it's back, now has the correct value of 5. Additionally, the turret now has weak spots in the front and the back, which 750 HP at pen 3. So it's medium pen. So as long as you have medium pen, it's gonna, I'm sure it's gonna be basically similar to the regular tank. So you know, where you like try and flank it and you get like those like medium pen shots. Unfortunately, light weapons are getting a little bit of, you know, a shaft there, but it is what it is. And then just some general changes, and also thank you. They are reorganizing the stratagem categorization on your ship. I'm hoping that it will be more easy to find the stratagem that you're looking for. I have hated it. I have like 2,000 plus hours in the game, and I'm still like, I can't find where the stratagem is. Like, so I'm really happy to see this. As far as like other fixes, just some generalized like colony improvements, and then like extraction beacons sometimes bugging out and like hovering in the air because it like landed on an enemy. Some crash fixes, so you guys can like look through that. Thermite not arming sometimes. Double-edged sickle causing a crash. So if any of you have like run into this, crossbow not reloading sometimes properly. I don't think I've actually never noticed that, but just some general fixes here if you guys want to read through that. And then just like some general performance fixes and localization improvements and fixing to the raise your weapon projectile. Sometimes actually not like firing into the sky, but like firing where you're aiming. And then the second attempt to fix the snake bug when you get ragdolled. See if it actually sticks this time. Anyways, big takeaways though. Really nice buffs on a lot of things here. Very excited to see how this plays out. I think the gameplay implications of buffing the dropships will make for some more interesting gameplay for both Illuminate and bots, and definitely some more team play. Because I feel like in the last couple months, we haven't had nearly as much need for teammates. Like you could just bring a recoilless and like you by yourself could basically take on an entire like bot drop because you could just like, oh, dropship, oh, dropship, oh, dropship, right? It was already such a powerful weapon, the recoilless, after the buffs, that like it was just propelled even farther that it could just one-shot so easily all these dropships. You can still do it, but you'll need a little bit of teamwork or some coordination on your front, right? You could just have like a primary weapon take out the shield and then swap to the recoilless real fast. You know, maybe you're like hot swapping back and forth. I still think the AT emplacement will be extremely good against a Talenton dropships. I'm assuming they'll still 2-tap, but I'm actually not sure. The math might work out where it needs to 3-tap it, but it will still be very strong against it. So, yeah. That's my breakdown of the patch notes. I can't wait until Thursday when we get the Warbond. If you're watching this video and you just want more insight or you want to ask me a question, feel free to check out the link down below for the Twitch channel, or I'll be live on YouTube as well. I've actually started streaming on YouTube every single day, 3 a.m. EST to about noon EST, so come on by. If you're looking for other people to just talk to and just play together, we have the Discord link down below as well. And hope you guys have a fantastic one. Thank you, Arrowhead, for the early access to the trailer and the patch notes, just so we can start getting our heads wrapped around it. Very excited for this, and see you guys out there in the galaxy. Bye, everybody. Peace.